Hello and welcome back to the Fastball Sports Network. My name is Mark. Baseball is officially back as of yesterday, March 10th. The lockout has officially been lifted. It was a 99-day work stoppage, the second longest in the sport's history, but they did not lose any games, which was actually astounding and very surprising. It looked very, very bleak many different times throughout this long winter, but we're not missing any games. We're jumping right into spring training right now. And it kind of feels a little bit surreal that we kind of got to this point without missing games, without really significant impacts. I think there was a lot of stress. There was a lot of anxiety the whole time. Like, are we playing 100 games this year? Are we playing 60 games this year? Are we playing 120 games this year? It never really felt like 162 was a reality, even from the beginning. Obviously, the owners took a very long time to initially speak to the players. It took about 40 days until they started to talk to them. Then there was kind of some reports that it wasn't really real negotiations. It was more so bad faith, kind of just going through the motions, giving offers they knew the players would never accept. And a little bit ago, probably 2, 3 weeks ago, when they were in Florida, things were really starting to ramp up in terms of the negotiations. I felt like both sides started to make more of a conscious effort to try to get a deal done and try to play baseball. And the timeline is a little hazy after that. Manfred initially cancels the first week of baseball after they can't come to the initial agreement back in Florida around February 25th ish. And then just the other day, he canceled the second week of baseball. So things look very bad again. But the whole time, like during this, they were like, we're still going to remain like talking to the other side, which was really good. It wasn't like we're going to totally ignore the other side and we're going to really hold out. At one point, the MLB did say they are at deadlock right now. They don't know what to do next. I don't know how they go from a deadlock to a deal done in like 4 days, but obviously something changed, something moved along, and it's really, really great for us. Really, really great for the fan, great for baseball, and great for really the sport as a whole. I just said baseball, but I don't think baseball could have properly endured like a real lockout. If they were missing games, if we were in April and May and there was no baseball being played, and you had like things like the NBA playoffs going on and other sporting events where baseball is just sitting second fiddle again, I don't think as a sport they could have recovered from that. I think there was some awareness there from both sides, the players and the owners. I know still some sides, some people on the player side didn't want to accept this deal, but ultimately the players voted it through after it was 8-0 by the subcommittee, and then I think it was 26-4 by the teams. It was the Cardinals, Astros, Mets, and Yankees that voted no to this. But like I said, it's perfect. It's great. We have baseball. There's some decent changes in the new CBA that we do have to talk about. This is going to be a very long video, kind of just a little recap, my excitement that the sport is back. Also, we'll kind of go over some stuff I want to do on the channel coming up. But let's go into all the new changes with the new CBA. The first rule change in the new CBA is there's going to be a 12-team postseason. Initially, I didn't love this idea as there are 30 teams in the sport, so letting 12 of them in didn't really feel the best to me in a competitive balance standpoint, but I'm okay with it now looking back at it. I like that the top two seeds get buys. I think that's probably beneficial. It really has more incentive for the top teams to keep on pushing throughout the whole season to try to get that buy. Also, I like that the wild card round is now best of three as opposed to the one game playoff. You don't play the whole entire season for it to be a one game playoff. That's not how baseball works. So I think those are really, really solid aspects of the changes. Like I said, I don't really love 12 teams. I think I'm okay with it, though. I don't think it's something I'm going to harp on. I was pushing for 14 at one point. I was really desperate for baseball, and that would have been terrible. But we agreed on 12. 12 is great. There's no ghost wins like some of the players wanted, which would have been ridiculous also. So really, really good there. And now on to the next rule. The next big rule change we'll be talking about the new CBA is going to the universal DH. This felt like a move that was a long time coming. I feel like we knew this was going to happen probably back in like 2018. I feel like it really started getting some traction. It's good for all sides, honestly. The pitchers, I think a lot of them want to hit, but they probably shouldn't be hitting. We see so many injuries. We saw DeGrom get hurt swinging the bat. We saw Max Scherzer like breaking his nose, bunting in practice. We see like every year a guy swings and misses and like grabs his side, and it's not good. Obviously, I'm a little bit of a traditionalist. I probably would have preferred it if it stayed no DH in the National League, but I totally get it, and it's not something I'm going to harp on. I feel like it is good for the game, although I just don't like change. I like to keep things the way they were, but I think it'll be really good for baseball. Obviously, 15 more jobs, more runs will be scored, more excitement. That is ultimately what baseball is trying to do here. So really, really good there. I'm cool with the new rule change for sure. The next rule change, in an effort to stop tanking, they have implemented a six-team lottery. And this is really good. I don't know if it's going to totally derail tanking because it's so hard in baseball to really like nail on your picks. Obviously, it's so much different in basketball and football where the number one pick is probably going to be a star. It's very, very rare that that guy totally tanks. But in baseball, probably 5 of the first 10 picks don't really become really good MLB players. It's kind of just the nature of the beast. It's such a different animal. There's so many different levels from high school or college all the way up to the MLB to kind of falter, to not like come to your full potential and to not become the player that the team thought you were going to be. And so I do think it is good. I think it's definitely beneficial. It should help to some capacity. I don't know if it's going to totally help, like I said, but any incentive to not tank is very good and welcome to the game of baseball. Another big rule that has been implemented is stopping the manipulation of service time. I'm going to go ahead and read this off the page because I don't want to get any of it wrong. 2 measures aimed at limiting service time manipulation. A full year of service time award to the players who finish within the top 2 in Representative Rookie of the Year voting. That's very good. And draft picks are awarded to teams that promote players on opening day who finish among the top vote getters for major awards. So that's great. It obviously gives teams the incentive to call up their kids to start off the season. The likes of this year we should probably see Bobby Witt Jr. in Kansas City. They have the incentive now. They'll be awarded draft picks if he comes to the top of the Rookie of the Year voting. The top, I don't know if it's 5 or 10, whatever it is. I'm sure he'll be in that conversation. I don't know if Spencer Torkelson in Detroit is ready just yet. He probably is. I think he got up to Double-A and he has some really good numbers. I think Detroit could probably get away with keeping him down, though. I don't think that's like a situation where it was like Vlad or KB, where it was like they need to call this guy up right now. But it will be interesting to see if he gets called up for sure. I'm trying to think of the other guys. Julio Rodriguez in Seattle has a chance. I know they're trying to extend him like they did they tried to extend Kelenic, but he said no. And Adley Rutschman should be up. Adley Rutschman's a guy who is now 24 years old. He's been the top prospect in baseball for about 5 or 6 years. Not 5 or 6 years, that's an exaggeration, but probably 3-ish years. He's a catcher. Baltimore's really bad. I get why they're holding him down. There's no reason to start his clock if they're going to lose 95 games every single year. But you got to, at some point, put in an effort to try to win. You have to. He's 24 years old. Like, he's supposed to be a stud. Do it for the fans. Do it for someone. Also, Baltimore brought their walls in left field back a lot. I don't know if that's going to have the positive impact they think it's going to have for them. But it's worth a shot, I suppose. Instead of developing and investing in pitching, they decided to move the walls back like 25 feet. So, also, the first part of this rule being the first place or second place Rookie of the Year finishes, get a full year of service time, feels really, really good, feels really well deserved. I also feel that's probably a direct correlation to the Chris Bryant situation where the Cubs kept him down for 3 weeks. He came up, he put up phenomenal numbers, he won Rookie of the Year, and now there was a little bit of an issue where obviously him and Boris felt like they manipulated service time. They clearly did. There was no way to really hide that. And now you can't really do that. So I feel like there's just so many small changes, but really impactful changes are going to really help the game of baseball from a bunch of different standpoints. And I'm actually really, really excited about this. There's a lot of talk about the shift. The shift is not being touched, which I'm fine with. I didn't care one way or the other. I thought, if it was up to me, I thought not banning, but kind of limiting the shift would probably be the idea. Keeping 2 guys, your 2 left side of the infield on left side of the infield, and your 2 right side of the infield. The right side of the infield, simple enough, right? But because it's a little frustrating to see guys rip balls up the middle and rip balls into right field for a guy standing there. But I mean, it's the devil's advocate, hit the ball the other way, which it's easier said than done. But it is an option, of course. Teams or players kind of just are a little stubborn, maybe, or just kind of opt to not try to put a bunt down. But it's also not the most exciting. There's a lot of it's an interesting conversation. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of good pros and cons for both sides, but they're not touching the shift. I believe the bases are getting a little bigger to help prevent injuries. That's fine. I don't see anyone having an issue with that. And the pitch clocks won't be touched. Another thing that was kind of talked about a lot during these negotiations, the speeding up the game where the pitchers would have to kind of pitch it in 15 seconds or something. It doesn't really feel like a great idea either. Just kind of preventing injuries. I don't really see why you try to have a pitcher rush his motion and do all that stuff. So that stuff's all not touched. I think overall this is a massive win in these new CBA changes. I know the players still wanted some more. I know the owners took a long time to come down from where they were. But we eventually got here. Opening day is going to be April 7th. We're only delayed by about a week. We're not missing any games. We're going to make up the games on scheduled off days. We're also going to have double headers, being 9 innings now. There's no more 7-inning double headers. There's no more ghost runner on second base and extra innings. We really feel like we're going back to traditional baseball here, which is really, really great. Obviously, we've seen a lot of weird stuff over the past few years between the COVID year, last year with the 3-batter minimum rule, all these different things. The 3-batter is staying, which is fine. I think initially people were a little upset about that, but I think as we kind of watched, it didn't really have that much impact. I think it was either neutral or good for the game. I don't think it was bad for the game to have the 3-batter minimum. I think some lefties probably lost work, but that being said, you should probably have to get 3 batters out consecutively to be a Major League Baseball player, or at least be confident in getting 3 batters out consecutively. So I think that all works out pretty well. I think there will be some more information coming out over the next couple of days where maybe some of like the behind the scenes stuffs from Evan Drellish and Kevin Rosenthal of The Athletic. There's also Jeff Passan's been all over this. Jesse Rogers. There's been a lot of really, really good reporting about this. And it's really exciting. It's a really exciting time. Like I said, opening day is April 7th. Spring training games, I believe, start next week. We're going to jump right into this. And it's going to be, I think, a little bit scary and dicey because these players are going to have to ramp up in a relatively short amount of time. Hopefully, these players have been staying in shape and they're ready to go. But yeah, I think it's really cool. The next few days are going to be really exciting with free agency. I expect to make a few videos as these big names are coming off the board, the likes of Freddie Freeman, Carlos Correa, Nick Castellanos, Chris Bryant. There's a lot of names that still have to sign here in a very short amount of time. I believe this weekend, we're recording this on Friday. I believe this weekend is going to be really crazy. Probably Saturday, Sunday, a lot of moves. Trades are coming too. I believe the big first name off the board is going to be Freddie Freeman, as reported. People think, or all the beat writers are saying, Dodgers, Yankees, and the potential return to the Braves. So he's obviously a massive star. So that could be really impactful for the entire free agent market. I just keep saying exciting. I'm glowing right now. I'm really excited. Fantasy baseball is back. I love fantasy baseball. I'm going to start prepping for my draft coming up at the beginning of April now. And we're really happy. We're really, really happy baseball's back, as so many lifelong and diehard baseball fans are. All right, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for me. I just wanted to make this short video kind of expressing my excitement that baseball's back. The lockout's over. I think everyone's really excited about that. The coming days, I will be coming out with a few videos when these free agents are coming off the board, talking about the fits, talking about the money, and just kind of giving a full breakdown of everything I feel about that. Also, I will have a big, we will have a big predictions video coming out about the season, talking about the division winners. I'll do that with Frank and Dan, two other contributors on the channel. Obviously, I do a lot of wrestling with Frank. Dan comes on for some of our baseball stuff. So that should be fun. Also, I'm dabbling with the idea of doing some type of betting aspect with baseball where I'm going to potentially go over the lines. I don't know if that can be like a daily thing. That might be a little too much work, but at least a couple times a week I want to try to come out with videos and talking about the lines I like for the day with baseball. I think I can really probably excel in that area. I've never bet baseball to the extent, but I'm very well versed with fantasy baseball and really excited that fantasy baseball is back as well. So yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for me. A lot going on with this channel. Hopefully we continue to gain viewership and gain subscribers and everyone likes our content. Baseball's back. I'm really excited and I really appreciate everyone for watching.